Hey, happy Saturday morning, everybody. This is George and Jake at EDC Leather, and today we're talking to Matt Putty. Matt lives in New Jersey, which we also call South Canada, I think, or maybe the New Mexico, right?
Not quite that bad.
All right. So, although I've got 52 degrees and sunny out here today, I believe Matt's getting a little bit of snow.
We are getting a little snow. They're calling for, I think they said 3 to 5, maybe up to 7 where I'm at. So we'll see. Right now, it's not sticking on the pavement. It's just grass and whatnot, but it's pretty cold still.
That's awesome. I don't have it. You do. I think it's great.
Hey.
Okay. Buddy, when you came to leather, how did you come to leather?
Wow. From a long time ago, I liked working with my hands. And I did the YouTube thing. And when I started leather working, I did the usual wallets and miscellaneous keychains and stuff like that. And unfortunately, for someone else, it was a friend of a friend type of a deal, whose father was a leather worker. They passed, and this woman had a whole bunch of leather tools that she didn't want or need. She knew I was a craftsman of sorts and said, "Hey, I'll give you a good deal. Come take all this stuff off my hands." And I did, and it's kind of snowballed from there.
And I think that turned into like a couple trips, not just one, didn't it?
Yes, it did. It was 2 or 3 trips there, and then unfortunately, again, I had another woman with the exact same circumstance right in town here, and I saw her post on Facebook Marketplace that she had some leather tools, and same thing. I went over there, and from a tragic event, I ended up making out on the deal.
So this kind of bootstrapped you into a pretty decent little shop right in the beginning.
Very much so. Very much so. In fact, I still have tools that I don't know what they are or how to use them. So.
Yeah, Garrett has told me that I'm a tool, and he's not for sure exactly how to use me. But so when was this? Was this recent?
This was the original woman was probably close to 2 years now, and then the second woman was about almost a year later. So
okay,
I guess you can say I've been leather working for 2 years.
Okay, and what did you start making?
It was just that. It was, wallets and card holders and whatever I could see on YouTube and buy the patterns. This was probably one of the first things, these little card holder things.
Oh yeah, I see some oil tan there.
Yeah. I was using a Tandy Stitchmaster sewing machine. So it's not much more than a regular sewing machine. So the stitches, I mean, you probably can't even see the stitch work on that.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. And I made a bunch of these, and I gave one to my brother for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And called me up shortly after he opened it up and said, "Hey, I love it. It's a great thing. My cards don't fit in it."
Oh no.
I don't know if I got my measurements mixed up, but so that's why this one is just sitting in a box of mistakes.
So did you remake that and get him one that fit for his cards?
I did. I changed the design a little bit, and I made it. This is actually the one that I made. I've carried this now for about a year.
Okay.
Now,
does that have a strap closure on the bottom of it?
It has a strap. You can see it. Just lift it up, and the little slot on the bottom is to push the cards out.
That's actually really attractive. I like that a lot. We may have to holler at you and get that little pattern from you. Maybe we can include that as a download of the show notes if you're good with that.
Teasing people with freebies.
Huh?
Teasing people with freebies.
I'm teasing them with your freebies. It's okay.
Whatever works.
So you started then doing that, and then I met you when you were getting interest in holster making.
Correct. my background is law enforcement. I was an officer for 27 years, and I was the firearms guy. And anything that had to do with firearms, guns, whatever, it all went through me. And I thought, what a great type of thing. Now that I was planning on retiring, let's learn how to make holsters. They seem easy. Huh, boy, was that a rude awakening when I discovered it wasn't quite as easy as it looked on TV.
What was your path on that?
Well, I made a couple of really rude holsters, and I thought, what a great thing! I'll put numbers on these and essentially serialize number. Give them a serial number. So this one here is number 3. I don't know if you can see down at the bottom.
I can see that. Yeah. Hang on a second. Let me do it. Hold that up again. There you go.
My little maker's mark and my number 3 on there. This was the 3rd holster I made. And basically what I did was I took a holster that I bought from a store, took it apart, traced it, cut it out, which is why there's, you can have 2 different cant levels and whatnot. And sewed it up with probably this feels like 5-ounce leather about. And it's rude. It's entry level at its very best. I didn't know how to burnish edges. I didn't know you had to bevel edges. Again, I use the Stitchmaster sewing machine, so the stitching is really light.
Was that a hand crank or was that the Sailrite electric one?
No, it was a regular sewing machine. You operate it with your foot and it chugga chugs right along. And then I upgraded from that. I actually had one of those hand crank Tippmann Boss, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I really wasn't happy with the results from that either. I think probably most of that was my fault, but so I just recently got a Cowboy 3200, and it's
fantastic machine. That would be a Cowboy, which Neil's Saddlery, I believe, is the rep for them. Did you end up getting it from him, or did you go to somebody like Bob Kovar at Toledo Industrial Sewing?
I went through Neil. All
right. Well, so Ryan is a super nice guy.
Yeah, he told me right out, if you have any issues or problems with everything, give him a call. He'll walk me through it. If need be, go on FaceTime. As it turned out, it showed up at my house in a gigantic pallet and took me a couple hours to put it together, and I had 0 adjustments to make. It worked.
He sewed it through then. Yeah, fantastic. Now, the 3200, the interesting thing about that stitcher, like the Cobra, the Class 3s, Class 4s that we all have out there, those are all clones of the Juki 440, I think, or 441. But the 3200, he actually designed the internals himself from the ground up, strictly as a medium to heavy duty leather stitching machine. So wow. I think they're a great machine. It's an excellent price point. As you know, we use Cobra. We use Leather Machine Company. In fact, I'm wearing their fancy little shirt today.
Nice look at you.
Yeah, I'm a fancy fella. But I believe they're both an outstanding machine in the class up into, the light to medium commercial use. I think, there's been a lot of leather workers make a lot of living off of those clones. So they're a fantastic choice. So you got yourself a stitcher then.
Yep.
Now you were talking about the your early holsters there, but did they achieve the purpose? Did they hold the firearm safely and securely on your waist? Were you able to access it and reholster even on your first designs?
Yeah. Like I said, they were rough, but they were functional. Looks was a big issue. They didn't look like a quality holster. And once I realized and found out what my shortcomings were after attending the boot camp, they've changed considerably. That's one of the ones that we did at boot camp.
Okay. In fact, I see your fingernail mark on that on the front.
So yeah, they've progressed nicely.
Now, how much of a benefit do you feel it was to you designing and making holsters, your background as the firearm safety instructor, law enforcement, and things of that nature? Do you feel that gave you any advantages?
Oh, sure, sure. Now, I mean, now that seeing it from both sides, seeing it from the guy who's making them to the guy who's using them, it was absolutely a benefit. The retention, we were always big in my agency. Any holster that you had to have some sort of retention. It couldn't just be like a pressure fit. It had to have a thumb brake or internal mechanism or something like that. So that's why I went to that one.
Okay. And turn it around. Yep. So that's the thumb brake. I'm going to go ahead and take that
Yep.
over and go ahead and break that one.
That one's just,
there you
all
go.
it is. Yep. Yep. And this one is for a Glock 19.
Outstanding. Outstanding. So to someone that does not have the background in law enforcement or as a firearms instructor, what do you think that they can do to help benefit themselves as far as their gun knowledge? You know what I mean? Before they're trying to design a holster.
Wow. Gun safety obviously is paramount with anything. I would suggest by all means getting blue guns rather than working with the real deal. And practice. That's the biggest thing is, we had talked earlier. I made a lot of mistakes, and still am. So it's learning the functions of the gun and what needs what has to be clear, I guess. You can't like the muzzle release, or I'm sorry, the magazine release can't be covered. You want to make sure that you definitely clear that when you're cutting you're trimming your leather down and whatnot. But you're going to make mistakes, and I made a lot of them. So,
and I believe it's really important for, especially on the new maker, when you're doing that design, even if you're building somebody else's pattern, that the first thing you do is you put it on, and even if you're in your shop, you wear that thing all day, every day, as much as you can, so you can determine how's the balance feel, where am I uncomfortable, am I getting hot spots, things like that.
yep, yeah. And the other thing is, when you're talking to whoever the end user is, I guess the wind is kicking up here. The end user, you got to make sure that the angle or cant level or cant angle is right for them, because what could be good for you could be good for me. So.
Correct. And then, like for you, for example, in law enforcement, almost everything I build for law enforcement agencies, and as you know, that's kind of where we're at, is going to be 0 degree cant. Space on the belt, location is 3 o'clock strong side, and we absolutely want that grip to be in the same place. But we find a lot of times 0 degrees, 8 degrees, and on what we call an extreme cant, going to a 12 degree cant covers probably 90%
Probably, yeah.
of the necessary
Yep.
cants. And then, like I told you, don't forget about using coming up over that front pocket, especially in a female carry, and dropping to that -4 degree cant.
Yeah.
It allows them to use their strong points of their body to draw with.
Yep.
Yeah.
We found that because women typically have hips, so we found in the agency that they liked a lower sitting holster. So.
Yeah, so it didn't pop out.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
So then you started the YouTube thing, you said, and went that way.
Yeah.
Where were some of your advantages, you think, or where did you find the online resources to help you with holster design and holster building?
The actual design builds?
Or where you found them? I mean, so YouTube's an obvious thing. Do you remember some channels that were useful to you early in the process? We're kind of looking chronologically.
Okay. Again, it's YouTube is the big thing. If you can't find it on YouTube, it isn't out there. And some of the holster guys or holster makers, some of them are rough. Some of them are pretty rough. And you can tell quality of the video and quality of the product they're working with and whatnot. Some are better than others, and I came across you guys, and here we are.
I'm sorry you got stuck with us.
Well, it was interesting. When I first saw the advertisement for the boot camp, I watched a little bit of the videos that you guys had posted about it, and I sent an email. And this was about 11:30 at night on a Sunday night. And I hit enter, and off my email goes.
Into the
10 minutes
Ethernets.
later, yeah, off to Never Land. And about 10 minutes later, my phone is ringing. And I'm like, who is calling me at like at midnight on a Sunday night? And it was some guy named George from EDC Leather. And you guys spoke for probably close to an hour. And I was so taken aback by the fact that, first of all, you had no idea who I was. and you spent at least an hour talking with a guy who knew nothing about anything. And it says a lot. It said a lot to me about your character and your enthusiasm and just drive to teach new guys. And
well, you were asking all the right questions, though. You'd looked at yourself and where you were, where you wanted to be.
Well, I wanted to try and potentially work into a little business on the side, making holsters. Because of the fact that I have so many connections of guys that wear holsters. So it was kind of a natural thing for me. And the class was offered, and I was able to work it out and spent a couple of days in Missouri, you and the boys.
We had some fun, didn't we?
It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Yep.
Now, so that was YouTube. Did any other social media, was it useful to you, like any of your Facebooks or?
Oh yeah, I mean, again, Facebook is a lot like YouTube. If you have an interest in anything, whether it's leatherworking, guitars, carpentry, whatever, there are groups on Facebook that love to share information. And what I have found with most of the leather guys is their eagerness and willingness to share and exchange information and ideas and patterns and designs and just to sit and talk. And you have introduced me to so many different people that I would have never been able to make contact with. And again, it's just everybody seems to be the same. Everybody wants to share information with the new guy or even the experienced guy. I can't say enough about everybody that I've met and dealt with, their willingness to share. And it's a great thing.
Now I know that also you're a woodcrafter, and we'll get into that a little bit later. But similar as far as the helpfulness of the community, is all the crafting communities that you deal with, you're finding they're the same as far as trying to be helpful?
Pretty much. Some are more interested in selling you stuff. Hey, yeah, I'll send you this pattern, for a couple bucks, for a few bucks. And there are similarities there, but for the most part, I would say, I don't want to put a percentage, but a high percentage of the people will just send you stuff or give you stuff, especially ideas and thoughts and techniques. And, I've come to learn there's a lot of different techniques to treat and finish leather with. And again, I'm absolutely at the beginning.
I still learn new techniques every week on that. So, us leather workers, we're just nice fellows is what it is.
You are. Very nice people.
It's because we like to rub on our product where you get splinters on the wood.
True, very true.
So you came to the boot camp. I think you did well. We had a lot of fun with it. I just kicked the camera. It was great.
Yep.
And then I got a chance to see some of what you did. And you brought us all a gift to the
Yep.
boot camp. Do you have
Yep.
one of them there that you lasered?
Not that I have lasered. No, I
Okay.
gave I gave them all away.
I got something to show you. So here we go. Oh my goodness. The mailman brought me something today.
Look at that. Wow. Talk
Okay.
about fancy.
So Matt shows up at the boot camp and he gives this to everybody. Okay. Which was a hard molded little valet tray, and he had laser boot camp in it. Well, we fell in love with him. And then I got to look at his other pictures, and I told you something then, Matt, didn't I? I told you you can make a big impact on the leather world without ever touching leather. And that would be a competent woodworker.
I thought that was an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. And I'm quickly learning that you're right. As much as I like working with leather and enjoy it, it seems to be, the woodworking seems to be drawing me back in more and more and more. But
right. Well, I mean, we all need your skills. So, guys, check this out. It's a 2-piece mold. You wet your leather down for a couple, 3 minutes, pretty good run of time. Put this over top of it, and you clamp it down. When you're done clamping it, after about 12 hours, you can take it out of the mold and let it dry the rest of the way, and this is what you end up with. Now, this is the cool thing. He's cut away a little groove line for you to trim it out with. Now you can laser this, you can dye it, heck, you can even tool it at this point. And the way you tool it is you take the negative right here, put this on top of your carving board, and you can go ahead and carve away inside of that, or basket weave, or whatever you want to do. So I got excited. Imagine that. I got excited. It doesn't happen very often.
Very excited.
And when I got excited, I told you, hey, buddy, I'm going to give you shapes, make these for me. I'll buy enough from you. We want to be your distributor. And we're getting ready to release stuff this weekend. Here
we are.
So when the people are here watching this podcast, this stuff will start to be coming up on the website simultaneously. So I got that. This one here, this was for me. Here, what he did.
Can't really see it.
Okay, we can see it.
There you go.
With the CNC, he put our logo in it. So this is merchandise that we're going to have.
Now who's fancy?
I'm a fancy fella now. And it didn't end there, Matt, did it? Then we went to the States. And here is Missouri. And then we actually put a little EDC on it right over Springfield. Although none of y'all get that. This is mine, especially mine. But once again, we're just taking and molding leather using these. So we have Missouri. We have Octagon. We have Louisiana. That we'll have at the end of this week. So they'll be up on the website as well. Texas comes 7th or 8th of next month. Okay. Is when we'll be putting it on the website.
That's what these are. They got a whole stack of them.
Got a whole stack. It's going to be Texas, and Texas looks beautiful. Yep. And we're going to be catching every state as we can. So we'll have these on our website, selling them for you. So nice. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Ballet trays, kind of about 6-7 years ago, we really had some real original thinking. Some beautiful ideas were coming out, and then everybody kind of just stopped there and they went away. So we're going to bring back a little out of the box thinking on some of these products here. So this will be Matt's stuff. So the next thing, Matt, I really fell in love with a lot of the woodworking you do. And it seemed like every time I would describe something, you'd say, "Oh, you mean like this?" And you'd say it's already done or it's already on the way. Show us some of your small tool racks, the small ones.
The one that you particularly like.
Oh, I love this. We call it the double angle.
Double angle one.
Yep. Fantastic.
It's got the larger holes up here for your swivel knives, and a bunch of holes, 2 different size holes for your tools. And I don't know how you can see it, like a little tray right here to rest whatever, a pencil, a knife, whatever you want. Very basic.
Yes, sir.
This is black walnut. And that was the first one that came up, because you said that guys were looking, if they're taking a handful, 15 or 20 tools and working on the design, it's easier than using what you said was a coffee cup.
Yeah, that's what we use, a coffee cup. And then if I forget to put it in the coffee cup, I can't find the tool. What it does, it's rolled off the edge of my carving stone, and it's laying up here somewhere, and I can't find it. So that's a fantastic one. I think you went with several different, and we're going to put these up on the website for you as well, and they'll be up this weekend. That's Jake's job.
Yep.
And I believe you have a few more of the smaller ones.
Yeah, this was a similar design, only it's just there's no double angle on it. It's just there's 40 holes on there. So just similar thing, just slight variation. This one I got crazy with. I had a lot of different scrap woods laying around. So it's Australian lacewood, maple, Paduke, and ebony. All hard. Yeah. It's just.
And those look like 2 different sizes of holes on that one.
1/2 inch and 3/8. Yep.
Should handle most tools in. So those are smaller ones that go right on your workbench where you work. But I had this strange dream one night about a rotating tool holder.
Yep.
And
yes, you did.
You made that come true, and I adore this thing.
It took me a while to figure out what it is you were talking about, and then you said something that made it hit home. And growing up in the 70s and 80s, what did you have in the car?
Cassettes.
Everybody had cassette players. So when you finally broke it down into simple English that I could understand, and you said, "Hey, it's the old cassette turners or cassette holders," this is what I came up with.
Fantastic.
Rotates around. There's leather on the top, kind of recessed, leather panels, and it's just felt, little pieces of wood with felt covering them, and your tools just slide in. And this will hold over 200 tools.
And what, a 10 by 10 space?
It's probably not even that. Somewhere I have a tape measure. Yeah, 9.5.
9.5
square.
inches.
Yeah, it's 9.5 square and 10.5 tall.
Yep, I fell in love with that thing, and I can see in the back though you've also built some very traditional tool holders.
Oh yes. Single. This one is black walnut and Paduke. Just a bunch of holes in it.
Yep.
This one I think 39 holes. I think it's got in it.
Fantastic.
And then the big ones. This was Chris Orth asked for a 2-tier tool holder
out of Ohio, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I thought he lived up by Cleveland.
Oh,
Chris.
I'm not sure. He was in the boot camp with us.
Yes, he was.
And he asked for something that could hold a lot of tools, and this is what I kind of came up with. This one's black walnut with some stained pine, and This one is oak rather, and pine.
Oh, I like that.
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. What is that in the tool holder? That does not look like traditional tools.
No, they're not. These, I think it was Chris again that asked for a molding tool
For holsters.
for holsters. Yep, and it's a stainless steel rod with a rounded end,
Okay.
and then different kind of woods just to try and make them look fancy.
Okay. Well, when doing holsters, we use tools like this of various sizes to go around the edge of the sight channels, to come around the bottom of the trigger guard, and to delineate some of the sculpting on the holster itself, to molding through. So that's a fantastic solution there.
To do stuff like that there.
Exactly. So I like those. I see there's a whole variety of them. Or I hope that I'm going to get pictures of those.
Yeah.
We'll get those.
Difficult. These are this one's black walnut and oak. That's black walnut and Paducah.
I see something there that's very pink.
Yes.
Hold that up. Mark Dittenberg, we're looking at you, brother. What is that?
That is, believe it or not, it's just stained plywood. That's
stained plywood. Dittenberg, that is your new molding tool, brother.
Yep. And there's different styles, different shapes. There was nothing. I didn't have a pattern to make different handles with, so I just kind of
free-handed them out.
Whatever I came up with.
Now those are 1/4 inch, correct?
Correct. Everything there is 1/4.
And we're hoping you're going to be making some 5/8 and some halves or something. Some halves and 5/8.
Yeah, probably. I ordered some more steel, some more stainless. Just waiting for it to come in, and that's it.
Be a great tool. The thing that you don't have there, and I don't know where it is our deer antler etching tool. I think Jake's running around. Ta-da. Okay. That is one of the few tools that I picked up that Garrett turned around and said, "Hey, that wood guy out of New Jersey, that's a pretty good stinking tool."
Yeah. That guy that don't know nothing about making holsters.
Yeah, but he can make deer antler. So, but I heard you ran out of that. So everybody's out of luck now, right?
Well, I got a few more. I went onto Facebook under deer antlers, and I found a guy. I think he was out in Wyoming, and he sent me a bunch. He sent me a whole box, so I got a bunch of antlers in the
great
in the building stages.
And here we go. Here's Garrett's.
Yep.
So what we use these for, guys, is especially like in our belt slots, inside of the belt slots of the holster, we can just take and we run this on, and we do this before. So when you put your acrylic sealer, like your Reslene or your Angelus acrylic on, you can go to the hot box or not. But remember, acrylic sealer does not dry. Acrylic sealer cures in contact with air. Okay, so it's a plastic curing. At about the 10 to 15 minute mark, we carefully plop the holster. We have to be careful because you can put fingerprints at this point. And with the smooth enamel of a deer antler, you can actually hit your edges again. And what you're doing, you're not so much burnishing the leather itself, you're molding and pushing in the plastic around and burnishing it of the sealer, which gives you a great, beautiful edge that's long lasting. Now, you've already done your work to the leather to get it smooth to start with. And so this is something you do. So this goes into a belt slot very nicely, and then you just go around the rest of the holster, do it quickly. You're just moving plastic, put it back in and let it cure in the hot box and finish up. So we find deer antler to be a huge benefit in edging holsters.
The one addition, when I sent that to Garrett, he called me up and thanked me for it, of course, but then recommended the base of them be a little bit more round so that you can also use that for molding as well. So you're getting basically two tools in one.
Absolutely. So, we in holster making, when you're doing sculpting and you're doing edges, we use every aspect of the tool that we can. Everything from the acorn nut on the end of your maul to various. We've actually taken butter knives, the ones that aren't serrated, and polished them out and used those with a rocking action to put lines on. You just grab something. I'm waiting to see what it is.
It was the same thing. This idea came from Chris again, Chris Orth. He said, if you're going to put grooves in them, make the grooves the same depth, I guess, as different weight leathers. So now you're gonna have a molding tool here, and then a burnishing tool with the grooves.
Fantastic.
So you could actually kind of, the groove obviously doesn't fit, but I'd have to make the groove a little bit bigger. And then you got 3 tools in one. So kind of an interesting concept.
And the idea is that you reach over and grab it, and when you have that favorite tool, it just fits your hand, and you're doing everything that way.
Yep.
So
exactly.
All of these things are going to be on our site. They're going to be like blue guns. We're going to be we're going to have some in stock, but after that, you're going to be drop shipping them to the people directly. They're going to order on our website so they can find it, and you're going to drop ship it to them, and they're going to be thrilled. And if anybody is unhappy about anything ever, it's going to be your fault, not mine. So
I knew there was a catch.
I am on your side, brother. So, other people, other holster makers that may have been an influence on you.
Well, see, influence is interesting. Basically, anybody on YouTube that I saw that had more experience than I did, and I have very little experience, was an influence. There's absolutely anybody that that you watch out there, you're going to pick up something from them at some point along the way. A lot of the guys, obviously, it was you and Garrett and Jeff and JR. JR is a fountain of knowledge.
It's the beard of knowledge.
Yes. And in fact, I've spoke to him via email and text message and whatnot a few times since the class. And he always seems to get back to you within, an hour or two.
Mm-hmm.
And he's happy to give you advice and comments. And I never can remember how to say the guy's name right. Jimmy Beer
out of St. Louis.
Yeah. Stayed in touch with him. He was actually my table mate at the boot camp. And he is an absolutely incredibly talented leather carver. Just that I have a few things when I first started leather carving. Oh, that was good. I was going to make $1 million leather carving. Didn't quite work out that way. No, this is actually the very first thing that I carved.
Oh, I made it that big now. There we go. Bring it in. We want to see that. It's not bad.
Not horrible, other than the fact that his one eyeball is floating out there in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, I didn't see that till you mentioned. So he got into a bar fight and got his eye knocked out.
Yeah, I mean, it's not horrible, but and then I said, all right, well, let's try something else. And I did a little eagle type of thing. Again, not horrible. And then my last was a bear.
There you go. Still chopping your beveler pretty hard, I can see.
Well, and it's right after this one, I said, you know what? This takes a lot of skill and patience. And those are two things that I'm kind of limited on.
Sure makes us respect the artists that have mastered that, doesn't it?
It really does. It really does. And that's what I was talking about with Jimmy is I was on the phone with him the other night and he sent me a picture of stuff that he's working on and crazy. It's just crazy the stuff that he's doing.
Something though, if you want to work a little bit more in your carving, a couple of people I want you to look at on the Facebook. Number one would be Price Reynolds.
Okay.
Reynolds Patterns. Yep. The other name I'd like you to really pay attention to, believe it or not, is Mark Dittenberg, and he started a little Facebook group, and he calls it the Crack of Drawn. and every morning, he is putting his doodles up, and as he's practicing his skills. And I think you'll find it really interesting, gives you small, things to carve. But Price has really come up with a fantastic product. He's been showing it to us this weekend on the webs, and it's going to be a template set where he has each part of a floral pattern broken down to a different template, and you start stacking them and drawing them, and suddenly you've got a professional looking floral or a Sheridan style, and it's going to be amazing. So
Yeah.
and we'll actually put a link up to there too, but I want you to make sure you go see it. It's going to be some of the best templates I've ever seen.
Wow. Nice. Nice.
So that's going to be a great product. Yeah. Then for us at EDC, so we were able to help you with the boot camp. Are there some things that we've been able to do to help you as a maker that's growing, and maybe some things we can do a little bit better?
Better? I don't know about better. I bought all of the templates, the packs for all the pancakes and cake zeros, and this is my first attempt at a snap cake.
Okay.
Notice there's 2 holes on that end and none on that end.
How did you manage that?
Yeah, because I'm like I said before about patience. I don't have a lot of patience, and I said, "Oh, I could build one of these, no problem," without watching the video. And I never put the star nuts in between, so that goes in the box of shame.
It didn't sound like that was the only thing in that box when you threw it in there.
Oh no, there's I call it. A lot of people call it a box of shame. I actually refer to it as a box of knowledge.
Is that if that makes you feel better, buddy?
See this one. This was for a Glock 19. I was really happy with the way it was coming out, and then when I went to put the snap, the male portion of the snap, I didn't leave this long enough to make the turn all the way around. So that is what's known as garbage. So there's a few things in there that didn't work out quite the way they were supposed to, but I learned from it.
Every one of those is a learning step.
That's exactly right. It's a box of knowledge.
Yep. So from MCN Designs, we're really looking forward to seeing more of your holsters come out. But what new pieces of wood are you going to come up with for us?
Oh man, there's.
I mean, we're gonna continue in the Valley trays with some different states. Okay. But what other things have you got in your twisted little mind?
Well, I'm thinking about trying to make a mall.
Okay.
With the nylon heads and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm toying with the idea of a really nice stitching pony.
Oh, really? One of the ones you sit on?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw today that it looked like a little workbench almost. It came with its own chair and everything, and you used your foot to make the clamps come together.
Right, your foot goes in a stirrup.
Yeah.
And actually, it's an equestrian stirrup, and the strap pulls it whole. That's a classic stitching pony. Have you ever looked up something called a stitching clam?
Just the one that attaches to the bench?
So, no, a clam is typically 5 to 6 feet long. Okay.
Oh, wow.
It was a long piece of wood, and then at the top of it is the pony. You still use your foot to function it, but you lay this out. You sit in your chair on your stool. It lays down, touches the floor in front of you, and it holds your stitching right here. And it's called a clam. Very classic design. Something definitely want to look at. The other thing that I have an old French stitching stitch clamp. It'd be hard to find, but it uses bended wood. So here's your regular stitching clamps right here. It come this way, right? Yep. Well, they've got a piece of wood that bends over like this. So when this clamps down, it closes this way. And this allows you to get that real tight finish or hookup right where, like on the edge of a purse or something of that nature.
Okay.
I'll find some pictures and send it to you.
Send it to me, yeah.
Yeah.
I also toying with the idea of scratch-alls and just different kind of hand tools and stuff. I'm kind of limited to imagination. That's it. So I watch a lot of different YouTube videos and see what people are using and kind of think, hey, I could change that, or I could make this a little bit better or whatnot. And like you said, I could have an impact on the leather world and not touch leather, and that seems to be the way it's going.
And leather, a lot of leather craftsmen are actually they're true artists, and creative, artistic people like to be surrounded by beautiful tools, and it makes a difference when you're designing. You can look at some of the, everything put together with rough plywood, and we just throw another nail in it. Uh, but a lot of guys that when you see that super creative mind, they enjoy holding a finely crafted tool or having
Yep.
their bench or things of that nature. So I believe there's absolutely room for that product in this world.
Yeah, I noticed that in the law enforcement world, when you see guys go to the firing range, there's guys that wear their gun in on their hip, and then there's other guys that bring their bags, and their bags are beautiful, and they open them, they open up 2 or 3 times, and they got a little workbench type of thing on it, and they're really, really proud of what equipment they're bringing. And I've noticed it's the same way with a lot of different leather workers. They're really proud of what tools they have to create their pieces of art. And it is absolutely art. There's no question about it. No question.
At some point, I want to get Jimmy Beery on here. He's not had much of a chance to do anything with holsters, but he's just progressing amazingly, on his carving, his art. I think he's putting together a jacket now that just blows me away. But
yes, I think that's sent me the hood. I think the other day he finished it. I think he said the hood was 5 pieces, and he's got a nice right on the front. He's got a nice carving, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and it wasn't done yet. So
fantastic.
It takes a lot of work and a lot of patience.
Yeah, and so I think I showed the thing that had our EDC leather in the valet tray. Is this something that you're going to be willing to offer to some other leather workers too, if they want to have that custom positive part of their mold?
Sure, as long as the mold isn't really detailed, because the detail in the CNC will kind of get lost if there's fine lines and stuff. So, but as long as it's a basic, or they don't mind me dumbing down their design a little bit, sure, I'd be happy to help out.
So fantastic. I think this is great. I know that we're loving everything that we're getting from you. I hope that we're able to continue help you to grow as a holster maker as well. I believe that you actually put up what started this bit of craziness of the valet trays is you put up a picture of a couple of the belts you'd made for our belt blanks.
Yep.
Now, those were to your brothers?
Yeah, I'm not sure which ones those were, but this is one that I did, and this is 8. I think this is an 8 ounce and a 6 ounce, and it's got that, I call it a gunslinger.
Did that come from Makers Leather Spider?
Yes.
The template? Man, that is a great template, isn't it?
It is. It really is, and it's. I think it was 3 different sizes. It was $12 or $15 or something for 3 different sizes. So, well worth it. So that's just double veg tan that's dyed, and that was it. And this is one of the ones that I got from you guys.
So that's not a double veg tan. It's an oil tan over a veg, I believe.
Yep, and I got that from you guys. And all I did was punch the holes in the end of it, put a buckle on it. That's it.
So now I see you didn't do the edges of that, did you? You didn't polish them out yet? Huh?
Nope. I'm going to leave it raw. The guy that I asked about it, who's I made it for, he wants them raw. So
I had actually, don't laugh, my daughter had brought over some friends of hers, and they wanted to make their own belts.
Yep.
And I'm like, sure. And so they were doing the ones that have the holes punched all the way down the length, the double holes. Yep. So I had fun as they looked at me like they thought I was going to do it, and they realized that I'm not, and they had to punch the holes. And I'm like, okay, so now we're going to edge bevel, we're going to polish these edges. And they said, no. And I'm like, what? At this point, my heart is breaking as a leather worker. And what they said, these are, are mid-20-somethings. And what they told me really struck home. They said, we have been lied to so much between genuine leather, real leather, leather product, and gotten junk all our lives, if I get it this way, I know that that's real leather.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, it still crushes my soul a little bit not to do the edges, but
Well,
I understood her point.
I learned a long time ago that no matter how wrong the customer is, they're always right.
As long as it's something to kill them. In holsters, we have to look at things so we don't kill them, you know?
Yep.
So,
yep. But
fantastic. This has been a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to getting more boxes in from you. In fact, Jake sat there and he thinks that you must be very, very good at wrapping Christmas presents.
Presents, yes.
You know,
I love using tape. Love to tape stuff shut.
Yep. So we got that in. So we fantastic. I am going to put up your website's coming online, right? You have a new website coming online, so you'll have the URL for it, right?
Correct. Yep.
So we're gonna have that. Right. Your Facebook page for MCN Designs. Do you have an Instagram or anything like that?
I don't have Instagram yet. But the website is it's hot. It's live right now. It just says under construction. I think there's one holster on it just so that I could have pictures posted. But the email is going to be connected to it. You're going to be able to buy and whatnot off of it. Going to be connected to the credit cards, and so yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be really excited to see how you transition from the hobby learning status to as you perfect your craft and holster making to how you progress into the business side and the lessons that you learn there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I love, like I said, working with my hands and whatnot. And now that I've come up with my way to connect the two different mediums, the wood and the leather. This is something that I did it was supposed to be a tool bag for a motorcycle. But I just love the way that, I put zebra wood on the ends and two different kinds of leather, and it's combining the two different mediums. Something that I went and did at a little flea market, I guess, or craft sale or whatever. These things sold like crazy. And now all it is leather for your mail. You hang it up on the wall.
For your mail.
Put mail in it and whatnot. I have other ones that have hooks under here for your car keys or whatnot. But I made probably 15 or so of these, and they sold like wildfire.
And a guy could laser that or even tool the front of that as well, couldn't he?
Yep. I stamped.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could see it. I stamped a flag on the one.
I see that. What is going on with that leather?
Say again?
What is going on with that leather? What is it? It's kind of lumpy.
Yeah, it's just kind of nasty old stuff that I had laying around.
Sometimes it makes things look attractive, though.
Yeah, and that's one of the things with the wood that I used. It kind of went with it. It was kind of the same.
So now, if another leather worker wanted to make that and didn't have access to the exotic woods or something of that nature, is that something you could help them out with?
Oh, absolutely, sure, no question.
Fantastic.
This was probably the very first thing that I made, combining the two, and it kind of reminds me of a binocular case.
Yes,
and that's really, talk about simple and basic. But that's all. It's two pieces of 3/4 inch poplar, and snap shut, and that was it.
Beautiful.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but it was a start. It was it was a learning thing. So
do you have some date rings on the back for an attachment point or something?
I don't know why I never finished it. I didn't put handles on it, anything, but you can see I never even treated the edges or anything. So,
I would finish those edges out, put a crossbody strap on it, and see what happens.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where I probably got started and something else came up, so it got pushed to the back of the pile. So,
we're going to have to reduce your caffeine intake or something to keep you on the focus going right down the line.
Yes, I have a tendency to drift.
To be a ground squirrel on Red Bull.
Yeah. Oh, look at that, right? So, but yeah, and the other thing that seems to be selling right now are these mallets. I call them Thor mallets, and you corrected me. What are they called?
Oh, Mjolnir. It's a
Yeah,
wooden Mjolnir.
yeah. So
Now,
these things
is
are
that
going.
because you've used the lamination? I guess I shouldn't use that to beat on leather with, though, should I?
Pretty good. I mean, it doesn't. I made one for I forget who it was for another woodworker, and it hangs on his wall. I'm like, it's a hammer, it's a mallet. You're supposed to use it. Oh no, I'll damage it. I'll mess it up. Well, that's what it's for. It's it's a striking tool. But so instead, it just sits on his wall. So, but it's you know, it's what I do. I like making stuff and having fun. And now that I can do it with leather, and
Well, we're going to put up your products that we're going to carry. And then as you get your website up and live, everybody's going to be able to find you pretty easy.
correct.
So,
I hope.
yeah. So hopefully, I don't think your being snowed in is going to last very long. You said 45 degrees tomorrow.
That's what they're saying. Right now, like I said, it doesn't look like it's sticking to the roads. It's just kind of on the ground. So, but I'm out here in my shop, no heat in the shop, so I am absolutely looking forward to warmer weather.
Okay.
Without
Well, buddy, we're going to let you go, get into the house, get warmed up.
All right.
Great visiting with you. Everybody have a great Saturday. And we'll get this puppy up and we'll have stuff on the website for you.
Good enough. Thanks very much, George.
You bet.
We'll see you.